Good morning. If the children would like to join me down here for our story this morning. So this morning's story takes place during Ramadan. It's an Islamic holiday, and during Ramadan people fast, which means they don't eat during the day, they only eat at night. Can you imagine that? That'd be hard, right? Yeah. So on this particular day, the wealthiest man in town was throwing a great feast, and everyone was invited. Mullah Rasmuddin had been working in the fields all day long. He was tired, he was hungry, he was sweaty and muddy, and he knew that if he was going to go home and change before the feast, he would be late. So he decided that it would be better to go to the feast in dirty clothes than to be late. And so as he walked, he was thinking of all the delicious foods that he would be eating at this feast. There would be dates and lentils, falafels, olives, breads, there would be desserts. He was really looking forward to this great feast and seeing everybody. And when he knocked on the door, the host looked at him, and he looked him up and down, kind of scornfully. He waved his arm to let him in and just walked away. And as he came into the feast hall, nobody looked up, nobody waved to him, nobody even made room for him at the table. And in fact, he had to reach over people to try to get food. And so even though the food was so delicious, he only ate a few bites because then he felt so uncomfortable, he decided to go home. So he hurried home and he changed into his finest clothes and he put on this beautiful coat. And he went back to the feast. And when he knocked on the door this time, the host smiled and he said, "Come in, come in." And when he walked in, people waved to him. They made room for him at the table. And so he sat down and he picked up a fig and he put it in his coat pocket. And he said, "Eat, coat, eat." And then he grabbed a handful of nuts and he put it in the other pocket. And he said, "Eat, coat, eat." And with all the foods, he stuffed them into his pockets, feeding his coat. And finally, everybody at the table started looking at him and staring at him. They said, "Whatever are you doing?" And he said, "When I came here before in my farming clothes, nobody welcomed me. In fact, everybody ignored me." I said, "I didn't feel welcomed at all. And so when I came back in my coat, my finest coat, everybody welcomed me, they said hello, and I realized it wasn't me that was welcome, it was my coat. And so I'm feeding my coat." So, and with that, our story ends, and Rita's going to help us pass the flame this morning. So from generation to generation, we light this flame of religious freedom. And now we will follow Read Out as we sing Go Now in Peace and go to our religious exploration classes.